In this video, I'm going to show you how I made these nice wall decorations with nothing more than a couple of pieces of scrap wood. Okay, so for the basic layout of this design, or these little wall art pieces, it's fairly simple. This is basically just a rectangle, and I only use pieces of painted picket fence like I've used in some of my previous projects as well, or you can use pallet wood, whichever you've got to your disposal. And then basically all I've done is cut them to the right length, and so I can stack them together to make this cross shape in the middle that's cut out. So all that I needed to do then is cut the basic sizes, which is basically at the top two of the longer ones, and then in the between pieces, these 6 pieces are the same length, and then just to make the long side of the cross, and these 2 shorter pieces are the same length as well for the cross section of the cross, and all put together then would make the basic cutout of the cross. This is only going to be glued together in a certain way. Now, there's 2 methods that I'm going to use. The first method would be clamping it down on my table using these holes that I've drilled in my table below, like I can show you in one of my previous videos as well, and then clamping it down with these hold downs or table clamps that I made in that same video. I'll put a link in the description below for that video. So what I'm then going to do is I'm going to take this cross and basically attempt to turn it over onto its face. Now, the reason that I'm going to turn it onto its face and just stack it all together again would be that the face side, or the painted sides, would then be level or flush with the table. And afterwards, after it's been glued together, that would be, and you see the painted side, it would be all flush and nice together. While the back sides would then be different heights because it's the different thicknesses of the pieces of wood. So this is a very simple idea. You can do it the other way around as well. If you want the painted sides different heights, you can just put the back side flush with the table, and it will give a different offset on the face side. So all I'm going to do now is use some glue and put the pieces together with some glue on it. I'm going to fast forward this so you don't have to watch me glue all these separate pieces together. Okay, so there you see I just basically put them all together with some glue in between. Nothing major, nothing difficult at all. Now I'm going to clamp these down with these hold down clamps that I made the last time. I'll put the link in the description below or up above for that video if you want to watch it. So for the sides of this cross, I'm going to take 2 pieces of wood like this to keep it down nice and level, and for the bottom part that won't be necessary. So at first I'm going to put one of these clamps through the table like this, bit of a tight fit still a bit new, and then putting pressure upwards, squeezing them all together. I'm then only going to tighten this clamp so that it holds the bottom part down, which is going to squeeze all those parts together. Now, the reason for the 2 pieces of wood on the side that I've put there, we'll get to in one moment. Just put this together first, like so. And you see, that's nice and steady. Now, with 2 more of these, I'm going to put into the side like this. One on this side. I should maybe make the holes in the table a slight bit bigger, but the idea is they go in there. Okay, let's use a different one there. Put these in one of the previous holes, like so. Holding that piece of wood down on the other side. And the reason for putting these 2 on the side is basically so that the pieces of wood, where they all go together, they don't buckle or bend up on either side. Put one in here that's a bit more fitting. And just like that, this whole thing is dead solid and steady, and we can leave it like that to dry. So let's get on to the other one. Okay, so for the second method, this is very similar to the first one with regards to the pattern in the middle, which is a cross. But this time, as you can see with the different pieces of wood that I used on the outside, these are merely offcuts. So they're all more or less the same width. So that's the only similarity between them, but various lengths, not treated or it rounded off of any sort. All I did do is just sanded the edges a bit smoother where the previous cuts were made. So to avoid as many possible splinters. Now, the similar thing I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to once again, the pattern is already set out. I just made some marks just to for the width of the cross, and the width is more or less similar to the width of the planks. So I just laid it out by hand, made some marks so that when I glue them, I can put them in the right place again. But this gluing would be similar to the previous one. Now, for the clamping method on this one, I'm going to do something a slight bit different. Obviously, there are many ways you can do this clamping. I'm going to use two of them today. Now, with this one, I'm going to use two of these long wooden clamps like this. They're not made of wood, they're just for wood mostly. And I'm going to put them on the sides like this. Once it is, let me just lower the camera a slight bit so you can see that properly, like that. Clamping the one side together like that, and then obviously one for the other side as well, clamping on that side. The only part that I'm not going to clamp and glue right from the beginning is the top part over here, because in the scenario or case of this specific layout that I've got here, if I'm going to clamp the top part, you'll see because there's no direct pressure between the top and the third layer here, this one is going to, like you see if I press it, it's going to angle like so. So I'm just going to leave that one out for later and then glue the rest of this wooden Christmas tree body together. And once they dry, both sides, then I will glue the top part on, which should be pretty simple. So let me once again start gluing. I'm going to fast forward this again so you don't have to watch the whole time. But yes, let's quickly do that. All right, with the one side glue, I'm going to now take one of these clamps, put it in place here. Now, the reason I'm letting the clamp lay flat like this is to help keep the pieces of wood straight. It's like I put the assisting planks on the other project, like I did before, just to keep the pressure down. While on this one, that's not entirely an option. So I'm just going to put the clamp on its side and let the arm of the clamp itself hold them in place. And then I'm going to squeeze them together like that until the glue squeezes out in between. Let's quickly rub that just to make no wood globs appear like that. And then I'm going to move over to the other side. All right, so that's the two pieces or the two sides basically clamped together. You'll see this little piece is going to go on top there, glued. After this is dried, let's once again just rub some of the glue smoother over here to give a bit more of a nicer finish. Wipe that away. Okay, so like you saw when I glued the pieces together, so I only glued the part that is making contact between the two planks. So on a big one like this, or a longer one for instance, it would be pointless to glue the whole length. So just be wary of that so you don't apply too much glue on areas that is not going to be touching each other. So let me let this dry as well. I'm going to attach then the top part. And when they both dry, we'll continue and see what it came out like. Okay, so now after the glue has dried on both these nice or not ornaments, these decorations, wall decorations, you can see that it looks quite really nice. This is the rectangular one, very nice. You can lift it up and see it's all stuck together. And this is the completely random offcut one, which has also come up very nicely. And you can see the ones that with the random offcuts, it does present very well. This is not yet what do you call finish. I'm planning to decorate this with the blowtorch as well, or stain it or burn it almost, so that it looks a bit used and a bit aged. Well, this one is exactly the way that I want to leave it now. This can then be put up against the wall. It can be hung. It can be put a little foot piece on at the back, and you can make it stand on top of a table as well. Whichever tickles your fancy or whichever you prefer, it can work with these. Now, let me quickly burn this one, and after the burning, we'll have another look at it. Well, there we go. That is basically the effect that I was looking for on both of them. This is the painted one. This one is then the slightly burned one with the aged withered look. Now this one you can see will obviously work well against a bit of a more paved effect wall or a brick wall, and this one can look very well against a painted wall with the background, as you can see with the lighter background here. So if you do like this type of project and you do like what I've done, be sure to like this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so yet. And if you do wish to support my channel, please have a look at the super thanks icon down below as well. So until next time, thank you very much, guys.